Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Samantha Winona. This is Winona Reads. Today is June 1st, so I want to do a little bit of the recap, like what I read in May. I want to do what I'm currently reading and then what I plan to read this month for June. So let's get started. Alright, so I don't have all of the books with me. Some of them were graphic novels or stuff from the library. So I'm just going to go through, sorry, excuse my voice. I'm just going to go through, and I kind of want to make this fast because my kids are out getting ice cream right now. It's like the rainiest day today. It's been so nice, and today it's been like overcast and rainy. But they went to get ice cream to get out of the house for a couple of minutes, so I only have a couple of minutes to do all of this. Yeah, so let's just get started. The first one that I read was just an inspirational, like, faith book. It was called You Are Loved by Janessa Waite. And it's one of those where, like, you actually probably could take out the pages and, like, frame them as, like, inspiration in your house, as, like, home decor. It was a very cute book. Some of it was very, like, stuff I needed to hear, you know, very uplifting, very spiritual, and I almost want to read it, like, on a monthly basis. I might, like, make that a thing for the rest of the year. Like, it just was very uplifting, and it was a good way to, like, start the day. I remember, I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday, I was just sitting outside, the kids were playing outside, I just had my little, like, lawn chair, and I was just reading it. It was just, you know, sunshine was hitting me, and it was just a good, like, a good vibe. I loved it. The next one I read was They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. This was a graphic novel that I got from the library, and it was a memoir about his childhood growing up. It was so much information that I feel like you're not taught in school, and I was very surprised by a lot of it. So this was taking place during World War II. It was after Pearl Harbor, I believe. So it was based on his childhood experiences, and then it, like, cut to who he is now. He was in Star Trek. He's an actor. So it kind of went through his childhood with his dad, the, you know, issues, sort of. I mean, it was very much a societal issue about how they were treated as Japanese Americans, and it also touched on the father and son relationship, and how, you know, there were times where he wanted to know, like, why didn't you stick up for our family? And obviously there's a lot more, like, to the entire situation. They were put in camps, and this is what I had no idea about. So they were, okay, so they weren't called concentration camps, they were called relocation centers. And it was basically, they were, like, in houses, they were all, like, cooped up in fences. Did not learn about any of that growing up, so it was definitely eye-opening, is what I'm trying to say. And definitely something that I think more high school should have on, like, summer reading. The amount of information that textbooks lack nowadays is, like, upsetting and unbelievable. And reading this, I definitely would keep this. I mean, it was a library book, but I will definitely order this for my kids, because sometimes it's a good representation to not only read memoirs like that, but have the graphic version available for children, just to actually visually see how different and how sad things were back then. And so yeah, this one was 5 stars for me. That was a long wrap up, I am sorry. The next one was Stepping Stones by I thought it was Kinsley, but no, Lucy Knisley. That was 4 stars for me. It was another graphic novel that was about a girl who, her parents split up, and her mom was with someone else who had his own 2 kids. They were all girls. What was Jen? Okay. So it was about Jen getting along with her new, like, step family, and how she didn't really vibe with the stepdad, and then his kids came to visit for either, like, the summer or something, and so they had, like, a fresh market. That's not the word I'm looking for. Farmer's market. They had a farmer's market, like, stand where they had all their stuff from the farm that they, you know, were growing all the berries and stuff. And so his daughter comes in and sort of acts like, you know, she's smarter and better and that kind of thing. So it's Jen finding her place within the new family dynamic and kind of maybe grieving the family that she, you know, missed, like having her dad and her mom together. But also, you know, getting to know her stepsisters more than just the first impression, because sometimes first impressions aren't that great. And I think it's hard when, you know, in that sense, you're living with the person. So it was very cute. I think it's definitely a good read, and I think there's more in the series, so I would definitely take a look at the other stuff. I think the next one was by Jason Reynolds. It was Ain't Burned All That Bright, and that was another 4-star for me. So this was interesting because I read it twice. I literally read it all the way through and then went back and looked at the like visual stuff and went back and looked at the pictures and how they connect to his words. It was a COVID piece, and the library they must love Jason Reynolds because they have like I think 5 or 6 copies in like the new section, which is awesome because I like him too. But so it was about a teenager and his family, and I don't know, it's hard to explain. I definitely vibed with it. I did like it. It's just like the art and his writing meshed so well together. It was like such a good duo. They're very like dynamic as far as getting their point across and what they were trying to do. And I think it was in the back of the book towards the end, it said like this wasn't the project they were going to work on, but they decided like this needed to be prioritized, and so they like put whatever their other idea was aside and did this. And I loved it. It was like I said, a COVID piece. So a teenager is like at home with his family, his dad's sick and not barricaded, quarantined in the room. Mom brain, I tell you. Quarantined in another room, and he can hear his dad cough and, you know, be sick. Then he is either in the same room or can hear the room that his mom is in, who has the TV going nonstop with the news, which I feel like when COVID first started, that was it. Like, it's crazy to think back when it first started because we legit had a baby in the hospital, and then like we went home 2 days later and it was just like COVID. Like everybody was home, nobody could see each other, nobody could see our new baby. And so like I definitely understood the concept of having the news on all the time, seeing the same headlines, feeling like there isn't any progress, it's just getting worse. And I don't know if I took it personally, but I feel like it was more than just COVID maybe. I think it was about a lot of things in the news that seemed to be getting progressively worse and not getting any better. I think it was a nod to just living in America, and I think it was a nod to being a Black family in America, especially. So yeah, it was informational. It was, I don't want to say entertaining, but it grasped your attention. It was very attention-getting. That's what I want to say. It was very attention-getting. After that, I picked up Astrology Plain and Simple by Cass Jackson. And this was just I don't know, like a informational nonfiction read. I kind of flew through it, highlighted what I need to, tagged what I needed to, took notes, and I mean, it says plain and simple. It says the only book you'll ever need. That's not true. I am very limited. I have very limited knowledge when it comes to astrology, and I was looking for kind of an overall like what everything means, and it is a good start, but it's definitely not the only book I ever need. So I am looking into other books that will give me a little bit more information about my signs, my kids' signs, all the rising moons and all this different stuff, because I feel like it's definitely coming up a lot more and I'm getting more and more interested in it. Yeah, so then after that I read Win Me Something by Kyle Lucia Wu, and that is right here. And I loved this. This is only rated 3.6 on Goodreads. I rated it 4. I don't remember what I actually said in my rating. But this was about a girl named Willa who was in a biracial family. It goes back and forth. It has her current like life, what she's going through. She's a nanny and then goes to be a live-in nanny, and then towards the end she is no longer either, and it's kind of like, where do I go from here as far as career? Like, she knew it wasn't forever, but like also she's been taking care of this little girl and like becoming a part of their family, so how do you separate yourself from that, like when that time comes? But also very differentiated from her family. So it was, I loved it. I mean, it's a coming of age story, but it's not, what was I gonna say? This is mom brain. This is what happens all the time when you're literally in the middle of a sentence and you forget the rest of it. That is my life. I'm hoping something on the back of this will trigger what I was gonna say. I feel like it definitely didn't have like a lot of, like, it read like almost like a memoir. Like, it didn't read fictional. I feel like there was no like climax necessarily or plot really. I think it was very character driven, and the writing was just gorgeous. That's the thing that I fell in love with. It's just, it felt like a piece of like my head, like something I've already previously thought, the way I have thought it, and like I read it on the paper and I'm like, oh, I connect with that. Like, it was just that kind of writing. It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I feel like I've already done a May. Have I already done this? I feel like I've already done this. Did I do a May wrap up? No, I did a May TBR. So maybe I just finished it by then. I feel like I've already said this before. That was a weird deja vu. Oh my god. Okay. After that was, oh no. After that was Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escabasi. I don't know if I said that right. That was another graphic novel. Super cute. I don't remember the girl's name, so let me just look quick. Okay, so some sort of tragic event happened. Effie doesn't have any parents. She's an orphan. Somehow they find the aunt or great aunt, and she has a life partner, I believe, or if they're both aunts, I'm not really sure. But they live together in a house. Come to find out, she learns that they have magical powers, and now she does as well, and it sort of gets triggered while she's there, so she's able to learn more about herself and more about her family with this, you know, new dynamic that she's living with. And then it also ties in some good life lessons about what is important in that stage, because I think it's a middle grade book, so it has a little bit it touched a little bit on, there we go, social media and like what really makes you happy, that kind of thing. So yeah, I thought it was a very cute read. I think the amount of like, I feel like it was hidden a little bit, and I feel like that's the point of like middle grade, is to kind of like hide the lessons within, you know, the storyline. So definitely very cute. And yeah, I rated that one a 4. I liked it, and I think that also has more coming to the series. I don't know if there already is a second one, but I'm gonna look into that because I did like that. And then the next one I read and listened to was The Comeback by Ella Berman. So I started off reading it, picked it up on Audible because I just felt like I wasn't getting into it, and that definitely helped. And then the literal last 10 minutes wouldn't work on Audible, and I tried to return it, and they were like, no, you need to like remove it from your phone and then re-download the section that, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, good thing I had the physical copy because that's just so annoying. This was about Grace Turner, who was a celebrity, and she, I think they said that she was supposed to go to an awards show and literally just like left the scene. Like, was like, didn't tell anybody she was leaving, nothing. Okay, so yeah, so she doesn't tell anybody she's leaving. She leaves, you know, the social scene, goes back to her parents' house, which apparently no one knew where her parents lived. I don't know. That, to me, that's weird. But like no one went looking for her or anything. And so I don't remember how long she was out, maybe a year. She comes back, and it is about was he an agent? I don't think, he wasn't like a publicist. He was like an agent or maybe a director who verbally, I would say he was verbally abusive, the way he talked to her, and then also sexually abusive. And so it was about her taking a step back, the relationships that she's lost, how she was coming back into the scene but like not really, and how like that was being portrayed, and you know, the images that were being scattered across the public of, you know, she's unstable, blah blah blah. It was definitely an eye-opener to maybe some situations that happen like actually, and it wrapped up. I don't remember what happened to her and her ex-husband. I forgot they were married. I don't remember what happens to them. I was actually rooting for them, so that's a bummer that I don't remember. The wife of the like director agent person, like that was a whole thing towards the end, and like the family connections, like her and her sister, like their relationship. So I think it was okay. I felt like it could have been a little better, but I don't know what would make it better, if that makes sense. Like I don't know what it was lacking. It was just lacking something. So I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I would recommend it as a summer read for sure. After that, I read Mapmakers and The Lost Magic by Cameron Chittock. I rated that a 3. Then I read Doodleville by Chad Sell. Those were both 3 stars. I really don't remember either of them. I remember Doodleville because the doodles were like coming to life, and it was a very weird, not weird, a very different approach to a graphic novel. Like I've never read something like that before. I don't think I fully understood it, and maybe it's just I don't have as much of an imagination as I would like to think I do. I'm gonna go with that. I feel like maybe that's why I didn't vibe with it, because I'm more in like adult set, and I don't know, maybe that's it. Yeah, so Doodleville was, the drawings came to life, and then there was like this power struggle between there was a group of students who each had their own Doodlevilles, or doodle, I don't know, drawing villages and characters and all this stuff. And then the one girl, her doodle like interferes with the other ones and starts like taking the characters out and like being like devilish. Like he was like I think he was a snake or a serpent, some kind of monster, and started tearing everything to pieces. And then they come together. They don't know if they should like attack that one or like how to go about it. So it's kind of like teamwork and trying to understand mentalities, I think. I'm not sure. Again, I didn't really vibe with it, but I think maybe my imagination wasn't there all the way. Mapmakers and the Lost Magic. This says, a young girl finds herself faced with the impossible choice to run from a valley or save it from new overlords. And you know what? I still don't remember. So I think I would rate that lower than a 3. Unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe again it was just me not vibing with it. I really don't know. And then after that I finished Othello by Shakespeare. This is one of the Penguin covers that I love. And this one was another 3 stars. I didn't love it as much as the other ones that I read. I felt like it was way too long, that's for sure. Yeah, see, so many people have this as one of their favorites, and I don't see it. I really don't see it. It was about I don't know, I wouldn't call it a love triangle, but it was, well, I guess maybe. It was just about gossip and betrayal and ignorance. So I don't know, maybe I'm just at a stage where that's just not for me, probably. But yeah, reading it, I mean, I definitely did tag some pieces, but overall I just, again, was not vibing with it and was like, okay, like I'm ready for this to be done. And then it was like another, I don't know, 20 pages left, and I'm like, okay, what else what else can happen? Like, come on. All right, so those are everything that I read in May. Okay, so I want to quickly get into some of the stuff that I am currently reading, what I want to read in June. I still want to make this fast because that all was way too long. And then I also want to show what I picked up. I don't remember what we were doing. We did something and I picked up 2 things at Barnes & Noble, and then we also, last weekend when we were on date night, we stopped at the bookstore and I picked up something after a couple of drinks. So started that this week. But anyway, currently 224 pages into Gallant by V.E. Schwab, finally. I'm not loving it. I'm bummed. I'm not loving it. It's definitely a slower piece, so I'm hoping by the end of it things wrap up and I feel more content with it. But right now I'm just like not, like I could easily put this down and not think about it, and that makes me sad because I do love her writing. So I don't know, maybe I'll always try her work, I'll always read her stuff. I just don't think this one I'm vibing with. I love the artwork and I loved the idea of the plot, so maybe hopefully we'll see how it wraps up. I should be done with it. I wanted to finish it last night to finish it before the end of May, but I think I fell asleep after like 8 pages. So and then this is one of the ones that I started this weekend, and it is the one that I picked up on our date night, and this is Excuse Me While I Disappear by Joanna Scott. And this is just a book of short stories. I fell in love with the cover and the title, and haven't really looked too much into it. I'm only 10 pages in, so I don't want to talk too much about it, so I'll cover it up in the wrap up. But it's off to a good start. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, and I don't have a lot of other books like that. So and then I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I picked up 2 books at Barnes & Noble. So this one I wanted to pick up because Jenny from The Story Ain't Over, and she has her reading club. I think this is one of the books that they did for, was it Read in Color, I think? And I was a little bit late to I think I'm late to the game. I'm gonna double check the Instagram to make sure that I didn't already miss which month this was for, but anyway, she highly recommended this book, and it just seems like my vibe, so I'm super excited that I finally picked this up. It has the deckled edges, and it's definitely like the vibe I've been like wanting to get into, and that is Kai Kai by Vaishnava Patel. So this says, the only daughter of the kingdom of Kaikai, she was Kakaya, sorry. The only daughter of the kingdom of Kakaya, she is raised on tales of the gods, how they churn the vast ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquish evil and ensure the land of Bharat prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the worthy, yet she watches her father unceremoniously, banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to the marriage alliance that she can secure. So this is a very women-forward book, mythical retelling. I'm excited for this. I don't think I realized how large it was, but honestly, anything that Jenny recommends, I like always write down and go back to and like look after later. The recommendations are very on point for me, so I'm excited to get to that one, and I'm glad that I picked it up. And then the next one that I got was another Eve Babbitt's book, Eve's Hollywood, because I had read Black Swans and I really enjoyed it, and this one is more, I think, about Hollywood itself, and with more of her stories. Like this one I think this has more like family pictures in it, like it's more familial based, so I'm excited to check that out. I did start it barely the other weekend. I will get to that once Gallant is over. And then these are my library books for the next 2 weeks. Portrait of a Thief by, I can't see who it's by. What the heck?
Why would they do that? They put the library thing right here, and then cover this, so I can't see either. Grace Delee, I'm assuming.
Anyway, this says Ocean's 11 meets The Farewell and Portrait of a Thief, a lush lyrical heist novel inspired by the true story of Chinese art vanishing from Western museums, about dysphoria, the colonization of art, and the complexity of Chinese American identity. So I feel like it's kind of in my vibe this year for some reason, Chinese American identity. I am excited for this, and I was in the library with my kids. Oh, why I didn't think to look there, I don't know. Yes, Grace Delee. And I was in the library with my kids, so I had to act fast as far as like looking for myself. And because they have the kids upstairs and the other stuff downstairs for like new releases, so they just, you know, when it's time to leave, they go crazy. They want to like sit and climb on like the student chairs and the tables and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, just give me 1 second to look. So the first like couple paragraphs on chapter 1 hooked me, and I was like, okay, I feel like I honestly want to pick this up now, so I took it with me. And then Hotel Magnifique by Emily Taylor. I don't remember who just posted about this. I want to say Alex. I think it was Alex, who, again, definitely recommend her page and vibe with her recommendations that she gives. So I grabbed this one. This one's a new release, but it's not, like, the Portrait of a Thief has to be back in 14 days, so I feel like I'm going to pick that up first. This one I have more time with. But this says, barely scraping by with a job at a tannery. What's a tannery? She's resigned to a dreary life in the port town of Dirk, caring for her younger sister Zosha. That is until the legendary Hotel Magnifique appears in town. It is famous for its astonishing enchantments, especially its ability to travel the world, arriving in a new destination each midnight. Janie and Zosha seize their chance to join the hotel's staff. They are soon swept up in a world. Okay, so this kind of gives me Night Circus vibes? A little bit? Okay, I'm intrigued, and it's YA, so hopefully that's a fast read. Hopefully I actually get to it. And then 2 that have been with me for, I think, the last 2 TBRs. Please don't judge me, but I do really want to get to these, are Poppy War and The Age of Innocence. So, wish me luck. I have quite the stack going here, so let's see. So, this is what I want to get to this month. And this looks very small, but this is not. It's just because I don't have all the copies. This is what I read in May. But, like, just imagine, like, a couple more on top. But, yeah, so that's a big stack, but I'm almost done with a couple of them, so hopefully it goes smoother. I also have that new Emily Henry book. Was it like The Book Lovers, I think, on Audible. And we have a couple of things coming up within the next couple weeks, but I feel like June is just a little more calmer. We have a trip. We're going to Vermont for a weekend, so there will be some time in there to read in the car, which I always love, so I'll definitely vlog that. And just a lot more weekends of not doing anything, so I'm excited. I say that every month, so hopefully nothing comes up. But I hope you guys have a good week, have a good month, had a good May, and keep reading, and I will see you soon. Bye.